Welcome to B&B Movie Reviews. We are just over a month into the new year, but that won't stop us from listing our most anticipated movies of 2023. Let's get to it. "2022 is behind us, and one of the most exciting parts of the new year is anticipating the movies we are most excited for coming up in 2023. This year is stacked with many promising films from horror, science fiction, big budget spectacles, comic book adaptations, surprise, surprise, indies, mid-budget action movies, and dramas. This year is a treasure trove for any movie fan. So let's get right into it. Brad?
I am so excited for 2023.
Yes.
We're almost at the point where we're releasing as many movies in 2023 as we did pre-pandemic in 2019. We have 100 big studio releases coming out this year.
It feels like we're getting back to what it was prior to the pandemic, and it feels good. I mean, 2021 and 2022 were still pretty big years. We saw the theaters coming back, people starting to come back to the theater.
But this is the year where we're really going to figure out if the theatrical experience is the same as it was.
Yeah.
And I don't think it is. But we're going to find out. We're going to find out real soon. And I am excited, like I was saying.
Yeah.
And we've had a great January already. Like our January junk month was a pretty good January junk month.
It was. I had a lot of fun, good or bad. I had a lot of fun with it. So let's go right into it. So we're just going to pull up our list that we have on our phone. So I'll go ahead and start it off. We're going to talk about our 10, 9, and 8. My number 10 is Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon. My number 9 is Mission Impossible
Dead
Reckoning Part 1. And then my number 8 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. What's your
So
10?
I've got Renfield as my number 10, the Nicolas Cage is Dracula movie.
Okay.
I've got Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny as my number 9. And then I have Beau is Not Afraid.
Beau is Afraid? Beau is Not Afraid. It's one of the,
honestly, it doesn't even matter what the title is. It's the new Ari Aster movie as my number 8.
All right, so let's get into it. Now, Mission Impossible, you got that higher on your list?
Of course.
All right, so we'll save that conversation.
Okay.
But I'll just say, number 10 for me, Rebel Moon, I'm looking forward to. Zack Snyder, I know there's sometimes, like you were saying, sometimes there's baggage that comes with him, but I like the fact of I love what he's doing at Netflix. You know, there was a lot of drama with WB and everything he did with the Snyderverse, but now I enjoyed his Army of the Dead and everything he's doing at Netflix.
I'm glad he's away from the superhero world.
So am I, and I want to see him do new original stuff, and that's what he's doing, and I've always liked him as a director and his visual style, so I'm curious about Rebel Moon. I love the cast, Jaimin Hansu, Charlie Hunnam, Sofia Boutella. It looks promising to me, and we know that we're going to get this on the big screen, and I would love to see this on the big screen, even though it's coming to Netflix. So I'm looking forward to that one.
I'm curious about it. I can't be terribly excited because I just feel like my energy for Zack Snyder films has diminished quite a bit over the last couple of years, and not because of him necessarily, but just like you were saying, the baggage, the conversation that swirls around Zack Snyder movies. I'm done with it. You know, with something like Renfield, I'm definitely not done with the conversation around Nicolas Cage. I have always responded positively towards his performances. You know, he's inspired by actors like Bruce Lee and Christopher Lee and these over-the-top, bigger-than-life characters and those actors that could perform that stuff. And him doing Dracula, and we've seen the trailer already, it's bonkers. But It is compelling.
Yeah, the tone of it wasn't what I was expecting, or maybe it should have been what I was expecting. And Nicholas Hoult is also great. I mean, he's done some really. I mean, we just saw him in The Menu, which was one of my favorite movies of the year. So I'm looking forward to that. But let me ask you, Guardians of the Galaxy, is that higher on your list, or do you?
Guardians of the Galaxy is not on my list, Brian.
Oh,
I'm excited for it, but it didn't quite make my 10. My 10 is very Brad. And I think there's going to be some choices there that people will raise an eyebrow to. But
well, I won't talk too much about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We know that this is James Gunn's swan song with Marvel as he's heading up DC. But I loved Guardians of Volume 2. And I'm curious to see where they end these characters, so I'm excited for that. The trailer, you know, it doesn't raise my excitement because I'm already.
Oh, it did mine.
This is a lot that I'm expecting from
that
it.
little baby raccoon.
It's so yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
It's going to destroy us.
Yeah, but you had Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Dial of Destiny. James Mangold replacing Steven Spielberg. Blasphemy.
Is it?
Nah, maybe not. Maybe not as blasphemous as Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Although, on some days I could defend that movie.
Yeah.
I love Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones. It's one of the most iconic characters in cinema. He does it so well. We've seen, a glimpse of what this movie could be.
Yeah.
There's some de-aging going on. It makes me a little uncomfortable, but I'm on board.
I'm curious. I haven't been the biggest Indiana Jones fan. But I mean, if there's a new Indiana Jones movie,
let's not have a fight, bro.
I know. I'm not gonna start that conversation. But before we end this segment, Bo is afraid. Bo is not afraid.
Bo is afraid.
Bo is afraid. What Ari asked her, seems like he's stepping away from what he did previously.
Dude, I don't know. Midsummer and Hereditary are two of the most unsettling film experiences that I've had, and I'm sure that Bo is Afraid will fall in line with that. What is that movie about? I have no idea. Joaquin Phoenix, we're traveling through his life over various stages.
I know.
That's exciing.
So
the imagery that we're getting from that movie.
It's beautiful imagery. But where that leads, I don't know. But yeah, these are some compelling films that we have. So yeah, those are our 10, 9, and 8 picks. When we return, we'll get further into our list. Stay tuned.
Jason, let's go see your room.
Is it good?
I hope so, if we even get it this way. Welcome back to B&B Movie Reviews. We're going to get further into our list. Now we will discuss our 7 through 5 picks of our most anticipated movies of 2023. So, Brad, let's just get right into this. I'm going to go ahead and start it off here. So my 7 is Havoc. Havoc is the new movie from Gareth Evans. Of course, he directed The Raid and The Raid 2. It's coming out on Netflix. Tom Hardy, I'm hoping he gets back to some of the brutality and kinetic energy that we saw. Number 6, of course, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. Looking forward to that. And then number 5 is Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. What are your?
So okay, we're gonna have some fun here.
Okay,
right? I have a
do it.
Netflix film as well. Number 7 for me is The Killer, the new David Fincher, Andrew Kevin Walker joint, starring Michael Fassbender, based on a comic book.
Okay.
I have Greta Gerwig's Barbie as my number 6.
It looks like it could be a lot of fun.
And then for my number 5, I have Saw 10, the 10th entry in the Jigsaw horror franchise.
I had no idea that was even coming out.
Coming out in October.
Let's start with that. Saw 10.
Okay.
Because in the past, I know you and another mutual friend of ours have always kind of joked about Saw 10 or like Saw in space or something.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get a Saw in space for Saw 10. I'm crossing my fingers, but I think Fast franchise beat us to space before the Jigsaw got there.
Unfortunately.
The Saw movies are, gross, violent, horrendous films. They've tried to reboot them these last couple of times with Chris Rock and Spiral, and then we had Jigsaw before that.
Yeah.
But for the 10th entry, they're bringing back one of their franchise directors, Kevin Groutier. He was the editor on the original Saw, and I'm hoping we get back to that very odd switchbacking kind of narratives where you have Saw 3 taking place at the same time as Saw 4 and Saw 5.
Yeah. You like that? You like the kind of like that?
I love it. It's convoluted. It's kooky. I'm into it.
Yeah, I mean, Saw, you're right. I think if they get back to that, it could be a lot of fun. I'll let you have that,
You're going to let me have it. It's mine.
There you go. What was your number 6?
Barbie.
Barbie.
Greta Gerwig.
Yeah.
Margot Robbie playing Barbie as she escapes from her Barbie world. Actually, my understanding
So is that the synopsis?
Yeah, my understanding is she is shunned from the Barbie world for not being perfect, and she enters into our universe. I think Greta Gerwig is going to have a lot to say about beauty dynamics in this world.
I mean, looking at her past filmography, I think she is going to have a lot to say. So I think on the surface, if you look at like a Barbie movie, some people will be like,
this is not Battleship the movie. This is not Transformers.
No, I think Greta Gerwig is going to use Barbie to say something a little bit more and something deeper about, like you were saying.
And already we've gotten probably the year's best trailer for Barbie. Homage to 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be something special.
Yeah. What was your?
The Killer. So
yes, I'm looking forward to this too.
Andrew Kevin Walker and David Fincher together again. They worked on Seven.
Yep.
And Andrew Kevin Walker, I think, did some script doctoring on Panic Room and things like that. Okay. But this is based on a French comic book about an unnamed assassin. He is turning against his employers, and it's a manhunt. We've gotten the briefest glimpse of it through that Netflix giant trailer party that they released. And I like what I see. This is the David Fincher that I've been wanting to see again.
The same. I mean, I like David Fincher kind of doing some of these other projects like he did. He just recently did Mank, which was on Netflix as well. I liked it a lot. But when he has kind of like these straightforward kind of like action thrillers, Panic Room you mentioned, which I like a lot. Seven, which is probably one of the like great kind of detective noir mystery type of movies, very unsettling. And then Michael Fassbender, he hasn't been around in a while.
It's been a few years.
And to see him matched up with David Fincher and Tilda Swinton is in it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. On my list, I'll go to my 5 is, if I can pull it back up, my number 5, Transformers Rise of the Beast. Sure. I mean, for Stephen Cable Jr., who directed Creed 2, Michael Bay is away from the franchise. It's a it seems like it's a continuation from Bumblebee, but they're kind of getting away from the aesthetic that Michael Bay did in his films. So I'm really looking forward to seeing. And then you look at that trailer.
Introducing Beast Wars.
Wars. Yeah, and it looks familiar, but it looks like something wholly different. So that I'm really excited about.
Yeah, but I don't, I'm glad Michael Bay's not doing Transformers anymore.
Yeah.
But at the same time, will I miss that Michael Bay-ness?
Oh, please don't say that you
Michael
will.
Bay. I love Michael Bay.
I love Michael Bay too, but I would rather see him away from Transformers. Did you see Ambulance?
I did see Ambulance. Ambulance is great.
Yeah, actually pretty good. Well, I talked a little bit about Havoc, and then Ninja Turtles. I mean,
I knew this was going to be on your list.
Yeah, Mutant Mayhem. I am optimistic. I'm curious about it because they talked about it may kind of evoke some of the styles that we saw in Into the Spider-Verse. And of course, with Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg behind it and some of the stuff that they've done with some of the properties, whether it's Invincible, The Boys.
This is the first time that the Ninja Turtles are going to be voiced by actual teenagers.
By actual teenagers. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see. I mean, Seth Rogen says he wants to focus more on the teenage part of that, which I don't know if that makes me nervous or excited.
Ninja Turtles were born for reinvention. If you go back all the way to the Mirage comics, those issues were constantly evolving.
Yeah.
We get the adaptations into the cartoons.
Yeah.
We get that 1990 movie. It's
great.
always changing. And every iteration of the Ninja Turtles cartoon that we've gotten has brought something new to the experience. So yeah, let's have another one.
Yeah. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And then I think my number 7 was Havoc. I talked a little bit about it. Gareth Evans, man. I mean, he did a movie called Apostle back in 2018
it's not
or
that
19.
Great.
Not that great. And he got away from really what made him kind of a household name or a cult name, which was with The Raid and The Raid 2. So him teaming up with Tom Hardy and hearing what this movie is about, where he's kind of looking for the son of a politician, and he's kind of like this brute detective.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we get some of that kinetic energy. And
there's no replicating The Raid.
You can't.
Which is the only thing that makes me nervous, right?
Yeah,
Those
but
films are so perfect.
I trust Gareth Evans though.
Sure.
I do, but I'm curious and I'm excited.
I'm down. I'm buying a ticket. We'll review it right here on the B&B show.
Yeah.
I'm down. It's probably going to get a B+.
There you go. B+ for me as well.
The Raid's The Raid.
The Raid is The Raid. So yeah, those are our picks, our 7, 6, and 5. When we return, we go deeper into our list, getting closer to that number 1. Stay tuned.
And someone says, you need a bone marrow transplant, those are just not words you want to hear.
I got a call that it was the best match. It was one of the best days of my life. I'm so happy that you're okay.
I just want to say thank you for the second chance at life. Thousands of patients need a donor like you. Learn how you can help at bethematch.org.
Welcome back to a B&B Movie Reviews. So we're talking about our most anticipated movies of 2023. So now we will talk about our picks 4 through 2, getting closer to that number 1. So Brad,
yes.
4 through 2. You want to go ahead and start with your 3?
My number 4 is the new Wes Anderson film, Asteroid City, with the most stacked cast of any Wes Anderson film ever, and that is saying something.
All right.
My number 3 is Dune Part 2 from Denis Villeneuve. My number 2, that's where Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 comes in. Tom Cruise jumping canyons.
Yeah.
And then my number 1.
Nope.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
So my 4, 3, and 2. So my number 4 is The Marvels.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to that for reasons we'll get into. Number 3 is Creed 3.
Oh, yeah.
And then my number 2 is John Wick Chapter 4.
Okay.
So I guess my number 9 was Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. That's your number 2. So let's get into that conversation.
Okay.
Mission Impossible.
I mean, I love this franchise. I've enjoyed it since the beginning, which was 20 plus years ago.
I know.
John Woo's Mission Impossible 2 maybe is not my favorite, but even on rewatch, I kind of like it.
It's John Woo, man.
Yeah. But ever since Christopher McQuarrie has come on board, this franchise has been reinvigorated. And I thought Rogue Nation was brilliant. I thought Fallout took it up a notch, and it looks like Dead Reckoning Part 1. And the fact that we're getting a Part 1 and a Part 2 of Dead Reckoning is really enticing.
I'm looking forward to this as well. I mean, we've seen some of the behind the scenes of the cannon jump and the things that like Tom Cruise does for us, which...
Does he do it for us? I don't think he does it for us. He does it for him, and that's okay. We benefit. We
do benefit. We benefit from his thrill seeking, so I enjoy that. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to this. I just hope, the only thing, why it's lower on my list is I love these Mission Impossible movies going into them. Can I tell you what the previous movies were about? There's a MacGuffin somewhere that they're looking for.
I think you're selling it short a little bit. I think there are certainly some character dynamics that have increased since Christopher McQuarrie has come on board.
You're right.
And there is this mysterious evil organization like the anti-IMF that they're always following.
Yeah.
I've been pleased with that.
No, I've been pleased with it as well. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to sell it too short, but sometimes I feel like it can be. I don't want to say they're forgettable, but a lot of times like I'll go and I'll love watching these movies. I'm in for the ride, but then like if you ask me to talk about them, like
I don't know. Like for me, we visit the Mission Impossible films every year, and I'm definitely cranking through all of them as we build up to Dead Reckoning Part 1.
What was your number 3?
My number 3 was Dune Part 2.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the first film. In fact, I feel like if we never got a Part 2, I actually was one of the people who thought I could be satisfied with that Part 1. It leaves you on a cliffhanger, but also I felt like it delivered the arc of Timothée Chalamet's character quite well, setting him up for Dune Part 2. I've never read the books. I've never been a Frank Herbert person. But I'm a huge Denis Villeneuve fan, ever since Sicario, really.
Sicario was great.
And I love the cinematography. I love the world building, the actors that they got lined up for the second film.
I'm a little bit more on board. I wasn't that thrilled with Dune when I saw it in the theater. I rewatched it when it was on HBO Max with subtitles, which helped. But yeah, I think it was a little bit of the sound design for me that really kind of took me out of the experience of watching it.
I love the sound design of all of Denis Villeneuve's
films.
It
works better on rewatch, and so I'm a little bit more on board. Not one of my most anticipated, but I'm a little bit more on board with it. And then you said your
Asteroid City is my number 4, and I'm just going to bring up the cast list. I cannot memorize it. But it is Tilda Swinton, Adrian Brody, Tom Hanks, Margot Robbie, Jason Schwartzman, Scarlett Johansson, Bryan Cranston, Hope Davis, Jeff Goldblum, Jeffrey Wright, Liev Schreiber, Matt Dillon, Maya Hawke, Edward Norton, Steve Carell, Hong Chow, Willem Dafoe, Rita Wilson, Jarvis Crocker. Oh my goodness.
But you know what? Wes Anderson does that.
Yeah.
Wes Anderson has a lot of great ensemble cast. What the story is about that's going to incorporate all of these actors.
It's set in the 50s. I think it's 1955. It involves a convention of junior stargazers.
Okay.
Sounds very Wes Anderson-y.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks in a Wes Anderson film is probably the element that intrigues me the most.
That is it, because this is probably the first time they worked together.
This is the first
time they worked together. Yeah, that's interesting. Quickly, just to go through mine, the Marvels, I'm looking forward to that mainly because of Miss Marvel. I love that show, and I can't wait to see how she's incorporated into the cinematic universe on the big screen. Creed 3.
It's going to be awesome.
Creed 3.
Jonathan Majors.
Jonathan Majors, I mean, he's riding this high, and you know like how much I love those first 2 Creed movies. So this naturally was going to be top of my list, at one of the top of my list.
He really jacked himself up.
Yeah, so Adonis Creed, I don't know how this one's going to end.
I'm worried for him.
Yeah, we'll see. And then, of course, number 2 is John Wick. I mean, growing up, we used to mention John Woo. I've been a John Woo fan. I love the action. It's sleek, the waist, chest, the Helsky comes from the world of stunts and the things that he creates with these action set pieces, and to see where they take John Wick, I'm so excited to see.
The third film kind of lost me a little bit with its mythology. It's getting weirder and whiter, and I'm not sure if I'm all on board for all the nooks and crannies.
Yeah,
are running through it.
I'm looking forward to it, so I'm excited. I'm excited for that one. So yeah, those are our 2, 3, and 4 picks. When we come back, our number 1 most anticipated movie. Stay right there.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a 4th ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to B&B Movie Reviews. So now we're going to get into our number one most anticipated movie of 2023. But before we get to our number ones, we have some honorable mentions. So I'm just going to, don't really have to talk about them. I'm just going to list some of my honorable mentions. I have Blue Beetle, the Super Mario Brothers movie, Gran Turismo I just learned about because that's Neil Blomkamp.
Yeah.
So I was like, Neil Blomkamp is doing Gran Turismo? I'm looking forward to that one. Quantumania, which is coming out soon, so that's lower on my list. Elemental. Fast 10.
Oh, come on, Brian. You're excited about it.
Yeah, 65. And 65 is the new movie with Adam Driver,
Looks
the new
good.
sci-fi, because it's coming from the writers of A Quiet Place, which I really love. And Expendables 4.
Okay. Okay, Brian. Not on my list. Some honorable mentions: Oppenheimer, the new Christopher Nolan film.
Yeah.
All the Marvel movies. You've mentioned a bunch of them already.
Yeah.
I'm into that. Fast 10, you're darn right. Liam Neeson is in a film called Marlowe, where he
Okay.
is playing the noir character created by Raymond Chandler. I'm very interested in that. The new Magic Mike, The Last Dance. I was going to say The Last Wish, but that's the Puss in Boots movie.
Magic Mike's Last Dance.
Yeah, Magic Mike's Last Dance. I love the Magic Mike films.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
New Scream film, excited for that.
Yeah.
Anything else? Oh, Evil Dead Rise. Evil Dead Rise.
Oh, are you going to make me watch that?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, goodness. All right, let me prepare myself. Okay, so honorable mentions. There's a lot coming out this year.
It's going to be a great year.
But
Yeah.
the number one movie,
Yes.
the most anticipated, the one that we can't live without, the one we can't wait for.
We're going to rewatch Black Adam. And that's going to be our
Yes.
number one film.
Yes, rewatch it. We're going to move that into 2023, and it's going to be Black Adam.
No.
We have the same number one, right?
do.
All right, let's talk about it, man.
All right.
What is it?
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Across the Spider-Verse.
Into the
yes.
Spider-Verse is probably my favorite comic book movie, period.
It's great.
Not just superhero movie, comic book movie, because it really does incorporate everything that you love about reading a comic book, bringing those panels to life.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to just continue that train with Across the Spider-Verse.
I don't want to say I'm nervous because that movie is so good. That first movie is damn near perfect.
It seems hard to top.
It seems hard to top, but like you were saying, if they are just doing a continuation, and we got the trailer, and we're getting a lot of the same characters that we loved from the first movie,
But a lot more too.
A whole lot more. But we get Gwen Stacy back, we get Peter B. Parker back. Peter Porker is not in it,
Sad.
and Spider-Man Noir is not in it. But I love how we are expanding this multiverse of Spider-Man.
Yeah, we're getting Oscar Isaac as Miguel, Spider-Man 2099, one of my favorites from the 90s.
Yeah, but we're continuing Miles' story. And when you saw in that trailer, the way that trailer opens up is a conversation between Miles and his mother. And I think they did that purposefully to show us that regardless of all the spectacle we're going to see with all these different Spider-Man, just like in Into the Spider-Verse, this is going to be a story about Miles.
Yeah.
And that is what gets me excited because I thought they did that so perfectly in that first movie.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're going to get lots of great action set pieces. It's going to incorporate all those things I was talking about with the comic book.
Yeah.
I don't see this one failing.
No.
It might not live up to the hype that I am building in my heart, but I don't think it's going to be a dog in any way.
And then we also hear that each universe is going to be a different animation style.
Yeah.
So I'm so curious to see how they're going to basically kind of up what they did on a technical level with the animation from what they did in the first movie. So that gets me excited to see what these different universes look like.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that.
And the way that it celebrates the medium of animation
Yes.
and the medium of comic books.
Yeah.
And it takes it out from just being like, I don't know, like a children's entertainment, right? Like
Yeah.
Into the Spider-Verse
Yeah.
can compete with any MCU movie, any Warner Brothers film.
Oh, yeah.
This is just entertainment.
It's awesome, man, because the one thing that I love about this time of year is when we look at the most anticipated movies is what movies are going to live up to the expectations when we look back on these films in the next 12 months?
Well, we'll have to revisit our list. When we do our next B&B Top 10 of 2023, we should look at how many of these anticipated films land on that actual top 10. And I would guess very few of them.
Yeah.
Because the films that we're most excited for are the films that we're unaware of.
And that's the beauty of it too, because we talk about all these movies that we're looking forward to, but there's always those hidden gems, those small indies, those foreign films. I mean, you look at some of the movies that were some of our tops of last year. I didn't know about RRR, and that became one of my favorite movies. So I'm always anticipating those movies that we don't know about, and that's the exciting part about it.
I'm checking my anticipation also, because anticipation can be dangerous.
Yes.
And if I hype myself up too much for Spider-Man, I could get hurt.
You can. So you got to watch out for those. Anticipation can lead to disappointment. So yes, those are our top films of 2023 that we're most looking forward to seeing. Thank you for joining us on this latest episode of B&B Movie Reviews. Come be part of the conversation. Let us know what your most anticipated movies of 2023 are. If you have any questions, suggestions, feel free to email us at B&B
What's that email?
It's B&B Movie Reviews at gmail.com. So with that, we will see you at the movies.